Even my parents, they don't really understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So when now the money hit into the bank,
Yeah.
now, okay. So everyone started looking on the money rather than looking on the vision. But you find out, you are a founder, I want to take you to the court just to do a certain decision.
So your co-founders at Popote wanted to take you to court.
At the Popote. And they quit my company.
You quit your company?
I quit the company. Even with...
How did you feel when you were quitting a company, the first company you started?
We had competitors. So all these other agencies, they saw us as a threat. So they start disrupting the team. Come here and poach our people. And even they reach a point and poach co-founder.
Have you ever been, felt like somebody let you down where you really trusted them in business?
Many times. It's happened.
What has been one of your hardest moments as a founder?
The hardest moment as a founder.
What's up, everybody? My name is Benjamin Fernandez. I'm the founder and CEO of Nala. Today, I'm super excited to be hosting one of our very own from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, which is where I'm from as well, Edwin Bruno, the founder and CEO of Smart Africa Group. Edwin, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much for coming here today in our office in Nairobi. I'm really excited to have you on the show today.
Amazing, and congratulations on all this setup. It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's inspiring.
Thank you. We'll try our best.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for those of you who don't know Edwin, he's the founder of Smart Africa Group. They provide multiple services and recently launched a product in Kenya with the East Africa expansion for Rifaly. Maybe you want to tell people what Rifaly does directly?
Yeah, so Rifaly, it's a digital platform whereby we digitalize the publication industry. So starting from newspaper, magazine, books, but also adding value into people who are doing podcasts. So doing the stories, article, and everything in between. So the most important thing here, we want people to discover the news anywhere, anytime. So basically on Rifaly, we say that we are building the Amazon of content.
So let's jump into that, and because we'll come into the background of everything else you've done, because you've done so many things in the ecosystem in East Africa, and we'll come back. But I want to just touch base on Rifaly a little bit so we can understand a little bit better.
Yeah.
When you say the Amazon of content, what does that mean?
So the Amazon of content is, in Africa, we need to tell our story. And the way to tell our story is to give people a platform whereby they can put the original story, and this original story people can come and discover. And with the rise of technology, especially the internet penetration and mobile devices and things like that, people should be able to consume content at any time they want. Let's say, for example, back in the days, for you to read a news, you have to wait until tomorrow to be it in the newspaper. Or maybe, you go to, especially in Tanzania, the 8 p.m. thing, where it's when the news, it's actually happening. Yeah. Well, actually, a lot of things have been happening. And even those news, sometimes people are not really concentrated to, a certain segment. But people, they want personalized news. And it's not all about news, but also about learning. So that's why for us, Rifaly actually is a Swahili word, which means taarifa na maarifa, but digitally. Yeah. So we want to give people news, for people to discover news, but also to get educated in order to add value in everything they do.
So I'm sure a question in the audience people might be wondering is, do you think they're not getting news? You have a young generation, maybe is finding it on Twitter, or maybe getting their news from different places, or WhatsApp groups, or so on. So I'd love to understand the conviction that you built behind why you feel like people need to find their news that way through Rifaly.
Okay, so in social media, the likes of, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and everything in between, they are getting news, but it's not authentic news. Right. And pretty much sometimes it's just a gossip. People are building on top of it. Right. So with Rifaly, it's a channel whereby those people who you trust, that they can deliver news. So for example, the newspaper publication industry, all of them, especially, let's say, for example, in Tanzania, if you want, let's say now I'm in Nairobi, but I want to read maybe the Citizen. Yeah. How can I get it? Yeah. You know, so now with Rifaly, you just go in Rifaly and then you choose Tanzania, because since now we are in 3 countries, you can choose Tanzania, or you can choose Kenya, or you can choose, you know, Uganda. And then within that, the newspaper, the books, the magazine, and the story of that will come. And of course, based on the keywords which you have subscribed as an interest, the news will be curated into that. Yeah.
Understood. Cool. Well, even before you started Rifaly, there's many other businesses you've built. So yeah, would love to jump into your journey as a founder. Let's start with the background. Where's home for you originally?
I'm actually coming from Kilimanjaro. I think Kilimanjaro is very popular around the world.
Kenyans think Kilimanjaro is in Kenya, but it's not. Sorry to break that news to all the Kenyans listening.
It's Kilimanjaro in a place called Moshi. Okay. That's where it's all gets started. So on my secondary school, so we used to have this optional class. So the optional class, people used to do cookery, they used to do football and things around it. But for me, I was interested in typewriting, because I was passing and saying, like, these people, they're just making noise. How does this machine work? So with that curiosity, I said, like, I have to be into this class. So I joined typewriting class. And then within typewriting class, I said, what is the future, or what is the advance of this machine? Because, you know, when you make an error, you have to scrap all the paper and then you start it again. And then now, of course, the computer was already there. But to access the computer, as you know, at home, no one has a computer, or no one can even afford one, even a mobile phone, not a mobile phone, a landline phone at home. So you have to find a way to save your small pocket money and to spend all of it into the internet cafe. So I think I can say it was like an addict or a drug at that time was for me to be just on the internet. So spending all my money into internet cafe just to discover how things work. So the main story here is I want to say that if you put a focus and you know what you want, you'll keep fighting and to make sure you are getting it.
And then where did you go for university?
So after that, you know, when I was, I take my, you know, my PCM, physics, chemistry, and mathematics, because I want to jump into engineering. Because even for the computing, because I wanted to go into computer. I didn't want to do computer science. Because computer science, it's 3 years, and computer engineering, it's 4 years. But everyone was rushing to do computer science. It's easy so that you get, you know, you get the job, you get the money, and then you move. But for me, I wanted to understand the core basic of how, you know, computing work and everything in the background. So I choose computer engineering. But at the time whereby we were choosing to go either to University of Dar es Salaam or any else, of course, you could get maybe, you know, sponsorship and go to other country. But it was a lucky time whereby the new university for St. Joseph College of Engineering and Technology
was just opening up.
It's actually set up in Tanzania. So instead of going to India, you're actually there, and they bring all the professors from India to come there. So at that time, it was like a best choice. So I chose, and then I went to St. Joseph College of Engineering. I started there 4 years. So that's where it's all began.
Talk to me about starting SmartCodes initially. Before that, it was, talk to me about that journey, about starting the business.
So starting a business, weirdly, I started a business while actually I was in university. So after the first year, as I told you, it was more of, the basic core of engineering. And then the second year, it's when now you start specializing. So we do computer stuff. So within the computer stuff, on the second semester of the second year, you have to go to field work. Field work, that means, you close the semester, you go to offices. People, they say like, hey, Benji, can I come and volunteer and things like that? So that's where it gets started, because so now at that time, I was far ahead in terms of thinking. Since I was spending my time still into, computing, I understand that what's actually it's coming. But when you look on our local context, we were not there yet. So when I went to do my field work, I didn't pitch or I didn't beg to do the field work. I went and pitched and said like, I went to actually 2 companies. One actually is within the government. And so like, I want to come and do field here, but I understand you guys, you are setting up your IT department. But your IT department, it's all about, managing your servers, managing your whatever. And most of the time when you go to the field at that time, you get this, machine to go and clean computer. That's your job. Yeah. You are not supposed to touch anything. Yeah. So how can you learn? But I told them, like, let's look on the business side. Yeah. You are running, a farming industry. Yeah. But it's the computing or the technology, it's not about the machine you have, but this one can help you in communication. Yeah. Processes. Exactly. So you write emails to people, but it's in Gmail. Yeah. People are not going to take you serious. Yeah. You are trying to print a lot of flyers, while actually you could have a beautiful website so that people can really reach you at any time, anywhere. So you know what? Let me do this for you. And even technology at that time was very simple, just HTML. Yeah. The era of Dreamweaver was already over. Yeah. So just HTML, and there's a lot of templates, but we wanted not to use now. Yeah. This is where the game begins. Not to become lazy and download a template and give them as a website. Yeah. Do proper design at which it's actually solving their business. Yeah. So I pitched. And so, like, I'll be here in the next, 3 months. Yeah. And this 3 months, I'll make sure I'll transform, your business to be able to be ready for the future. So I'll help them build the website, build, their communication in terms of the email, how they're going to read emails. And, at that time, even the setup of the email was not through the Gmail. Yeah. We were doing the cPanel. I think the engineers will understand. Yeah. Whereby, again, if you do the cPanel, you become the host. You become the person who trusts, because you'll be the one changing password. You can even check their emails and everything, but you need to be trusted. Yeah. So within that, while we were registering the domains, the government also launched a certain set under TCRI. It was called TZ set, whereby they were selling .tz domain. Yeah. But no one actually understood what .tz domain means. Yeah. And everything was hosted in Tanzania. Yeah. So I was curious. I said, like, actually, I think because I'm moving into cloud computing, I need to really understand how these IP servers, domains as an address works and everything. So again, I went to TZ set. Yeah. So this is after I finished my, my field and went back to school. Now I'm actually on second year. Yeah. So I went to TZ set. Yeah. Rather than, at the same time, actually I'm studying. Yeah. Just after the classes, I say I can come. I can volunteer. Yeah. You guys, you have this TZ set and whatever, but people, they don't understand it. Yeah. You need to put things, even in Facebook and things like that. Facebook, bana, you are wauni. No. It's have wauni or whatever, as you say, but actually it's an audience whereby you can actually deliver your message. So I also went there and volunteer in terms of, they had a budget to do the advertising for the TZ set. Yeah. And so, like, I'll do this, and whatever it fits you, you pay me in XYZ. Okay. So at the early beginning, I was actually thinking business. Yeah. So the funny part is I wasn't actually on the thinking of starting the business. Yeah. I worked with Suma JKT, it's a military. And then after, because all these private company were just paying me in cash. And then they move on. But I got a project. So
like deal by deal by
deal. Deal by deal, backpack, you move and things around that. So I get the deal at, Suma JKT, which is, it's actually military. Under military, at which they were subsidizing, the tractors. It was actually set up in Mwenge. And then they say, like, here, you guys, you can do this and this and this and this. I say, I can do this and this. I can help you set up the website so that, the wakulima from Bear, whatever, they can actually, send the text. That text can come to your database as an email and do X, Y, Z. So within that project, I said, okay, so you have done the project very well. Now we are about to pay you. So what's your company name? Because we want to write a check. So I thought, okay, so what can I do?
What is my company name? Or the Tanzanian way, you name the company after your name. Benjamin's company.
Exactly. So you went and do Edwin Enterprises. Actually, at that time on internet, my AK was techno design. Okay. I love technology. and design.
Yeah.
Technology plus design in terms of communication. So I was calling myself Techno Design. So I said, okay, so to do this and this, I find a friend, and then they actually tell me how to do it. We go to Betrayal, and then, you know, it's like, I want Techno Design. No, you know, there is a Techno Brain, so you cannot have it. But it's a different name. No. But I told them, you know, even in domain, if I change just one word, it means something different. No. People think Techno Design is Techno Brain, so you cannot have that. Come up with something else. So, okay, so maybe I need to be, okay, so let's call it Smart Design or Smart Technology. I don't know, you know, there was a telecom company and whatever, it's already called that and things like that. So we actually play with the names until it came as a SmartCodes. So within that, it's fast forward.
But even before that, right? There was a time that you started a business called Popote Media. Was that like right before SmartCodes, right?
Yeah, it was after SmartCodes. So I started SmartCodes when I was in second year. And then I continued up to, I finished my university fourth year. And then after that, you know, now we want to go out and look for an office. The good news is that the Tanzania government under Caustic, we already start thinking, you know, technology and innovation space. So we got this place called DTBI, which was under Caustic, the incubator. We pitch, you know, like what will be the future of technology and things around it. And then when we enter there, because I had a group of friends, and for them, we wanted to do more for digital marketing. And then when we wanted to register DTBI under SmartCode, but they say, you know, these people, they don't really understand technology. It will take time. So let me pack
those are the Popote Media people.
Let me pack SmartCode, you know, at a side, and then focus on something else new. And then we form a group of 4 people, and then we form a new name called Popote. Media. So Popote Media was an advertising agency, which means when we say Popote, it's like anywhere, anytime. It's a Swahili word. We always love to play with the words. So Popote Media, like you can be on ground, on billboard, on digital, on Facebook. At that time, Instagram was not there, but we wanted to integrate between the local communication, BTL, together with
So what happened with Popote Media?
So we ran the company, and then in between, of course, the business now start booming. But I think it's all about the vision, you know. So with the team which we have, actually the funny part is we had competitors. So all these other agencies, they saw us as a threat because we are rising. But of course, they were not really concentrated on digital because like, this is digital is not the part. But for us, we understand digital is the future. So they start disrupting the team, you know, come here and poach our people. And even they reach a point and to poach co-founder. Can you imagine you can poach a co-founder to go and work on a competitive, you know, market in terms of the industry. And then that was not a big deal. So, okay, you know, and this is because we don't have money. Because we understand someone can go because they say, okay, so if I remain, what are you going to give me? Because the family also wants, you know, people to eat. They say, okay, it's okay, you know what? You go and work on the competitor side, and then we'll be coming here in the evening, and then we'll continue until we secure, you know, some enough money. And then when we get money, you'll get back. So it's working. Us at that time, we were not making money. We were trying to build the company. And lucky enough, we got our first big client, which was Precision Air. It's one of the biggest airline, and they paid us very well. So we did a campaign. After 3 months, then these people, they start, you know, paying us. So when now the money hit into the bank, now, okay. So everyone started looking on the money rather than looking on the vision. So all of us, everyone started having different interest, and then we got in different fight. Of course, I had the you know, majority share, but you find out, you know, you are a co-founder. I want to take you to the court just to do a certain decision.
So like, your co-founders at Popote wanted to take you to court?
At the Popote. Actually, it was my minority shareholder. Is actually taking us to the court because he wanted to do XYZ, which is unethical. And at that time, you know, I was young. I don't have any responsibility. I say, you know what? This is toxic for me. I say, this is if you want this, me, I don't have any time to go to whatever. It's actually a waste of time rather than focusing on the client. And we have a lot of other things to do. And I quit my company.
You quit your company.
I quit the company. Even with
how did you feel when you're quitting a company, the first company you started?
Till today, it's very emotional because till today I left everything for them except one thing, just the domain, the popote.co.tz, because I still want to have that. I don't know in future what I'm not going to do it. But though the person who will leave the company is still using it, and we have not followed up to understand exactly what's going on. Because you see, when you quit something, you need to full 100% quit it. And then since I already had, so actually the reason why I did the quick, decision, because I already had another company, SmartCodes. So like, okay, so I'll continue
with that
bring SmartCode in terms of technology. What I'll do, because I have enough knowledge in design and advertising, because that's what we are doing. Actually, what we agree is we'll leave the Popote to you with all the clients. I'm not going to come over your clients, but I'll add the service which I used to do at Popote to my company. So within now the SmartCode, we are doing technology, but also we add marketing. So that's why we do technology and advertising. Through that, I think for us, we got an advantage because we understand technology very well. And combining with the passion of marketing and communication with that rising, we combine together, and then that's how we propel.
So Edwin, you moved from SmartCodes to Smart Africa Group. Why?
Yeah, so also this is all about expansion, and expansion by design with a vision. So within SmartCode, we started growing in terms of internally, in terms of department. So we have a department for advertising, 360 advertising. We had a department for, building technology for other customers. And then we had a department for product, building our own product, the likes of Rifaly. And then also we had a department for production, like a content studio, creating content curated for our customers. And also we had a department to bring back to the ecosystem in terms of innovation hub. So within all of this, when we were growing, we saw them grow. And actually, if you look at it, each and every department, it was actually had a segment within a certain industry. So within that, it's when now we did a restructuring. And it's also because we had a vision to expand in Africa. So you cannot expand departmental. And it's when now we fall, all those departments become subsidiary. So we registered the department as companies. And then the group of company now, the set, which is Smart Africa Group, which it centralizes all the administration, HR, finance, investment, legal, and everything in between. So that all these other subsidiary, they can just focus on what they do best. So our advertising and, communication department remain as SmartCode, because it was a core of the company in terms of branding and communication. And then our technology department, we called it SmartKnowledge, which SmartKnowledge sells technology services to other company. And then our department for, studio production, we call it Smart Studio, which now serves as a studio production and partnership with, content creator to tell brand stories. And then also we had Innovation Lab. So this Innovation Lab, we call it Smart Lab, whereby we connect startup and corporate to connect them with investor and, of course, to grow the idea. And the last one is Smart Foundry. So this is the core of the product and technology and everything in between. So with the nature of Smart Foundry, we have different products which we have. One of them, it's Rifaly, which is now we have launched for East Africa. So that's how it's structured across from all the subsidiary to Smart Africa Group.
Understood. For context for everybody tuning in, so you guys work with the largest oil and gas company in Tanzania, Total. You work with the largest telecom in Tanzania, Vodacom. You work with one of the largest banks in Tanzania, NMB. You also work with the largest FMCG company, TBL, Tanzania Breweries. How do you get from Moshi, Tanzania, a tiny city in Tanzania, to Dar es Salaam, and now to be holding some of the biggest accounts for some of the biggest organizations in the country?
For us, it's a bit more of curious and passion, but not to look more on the revenue part, but more on how can we add value to the customer and how can we add value to our partner. And most of our clients, we actually don't state them as a client, we take them as partner. Because we go to one of the client to give them cross transformation of from their communication transformation, technology transformation, and even their future. That's why we implug Smart Lab, whereby even them within, if they want to innovate, we innovate with them. Because we always, joke with them that, technology or innovation is not a department. You need a partner to build the future of your customer.
So when you build a business, it's hard. You have people join and so on, and then you obviously have to manage people and grow a business. You're now, between 70 to 100 people at your business.
Yeah.
What has been one of the, let's say, one of the hardest things about managing people?
Of course, to manage people, you need to trust them, and you need to trust them that, they can deliver what is your vision. Sometimes, of course, it's not 100%, but reminding them. And even you see people making a mistake maybe on a certain angle, don't go jump and start doing it yourself, because that was actually like a disease. So it's to manage the art of delegation, trying to delegate each and everything. And then, of course, you monitor and trying to be more of a leader rather than, a boss, so that you can work together and give them time to try to infuse the vision. And then within those discussions, it's when the company can grow as we are.
Have you ever been, felt like somebody let you down where you really trusted them in business?
Many times it's happened. And of course, this sometimes, it can be in any level. Either it's your receptionist, either, it's your manager, either it's whatever. I think at the beginning, it was like when you see someone want to go, or maybe someone just, they resign based on your competitor or your customer wants, they can't pay you, but they think they can take your people to go and implement. So at those were, I think, the thing which was really had me in the beginning. But with time, I understand that actually it's not about me. It's about people also, they have to grow. Though we are aggressively pushing things, but also if we let them go and try something else, and then later we have found out they go, and later they will come back, and then with the push of, pitching and of course leading them to the vision, it's more delivering to the company. So for what I've learned that it's more of making people understand the vision, and the vision always have to be crazy. And with that craziness, people will find a way to figure it out to the destination. In
the Tanzania tech ecosystem or the space, we're here in Nairobi today, and yesterday we had a discussion about comparing both ecosystems. Why do you believe Tanzania's ecosystem is behind Kenya's?
I think it's more of the networking and people daring to meet and, of course, to discuss other things. I think we discussed last night when we had that, gathering after the event, whereby people are willing to meet and share. And, someone can come just on your face like, oh, Benjamin, I do this and this and that. While I think on our market, people, they still have a fear, that daring of doing something. People think like, for me to go and meet Benji, I have to ask my uncle, I have to ask all the connection, why they can actually call you. Me, for example, anyone who call me within my number, even if it's a known number, I call it back and you make those meetings. So it's that daring, but also we cannot complain much on the regulators and whatever, but it's all about, ourselves in terms of the people which we work together. How are they going to push themselves to deliver more? And to reduce a little bit, I don't call laziness, but more of daring to do more. And of
Where do you
course,
think that comes from?
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from, that fear that you talk about?
The fear, I think it's our markets, for the way I have seen, I've been into different countries, I think we're more relaxed and everything is easy. You see in Tanzania, even back in the days, if you want water, you can just walk in someone's door and say, hey, can I have water? In another country like in US, you cannot do that. So the fear that if you're in another country, if I need water, I need to walk to get water, it's what we don't have in our country. But I think with time, with this new generation, I start seeing that start growing. People, they want big things, and they know that to get big things, they have to work for it.
What concerns you the most about the tech ecosystem in Tanzania?
What concerns me the most? I think it's more of we need to do more and speak less. That's the most important thing.
Say more about that. What do you mean?
Yeah?
What do you mean?
What I mean is more of the execution. Let's say, for example, if someone say like, you launch Nala or you launch Rifaly, rather than start talking about Rifaly without asking what is the core of the business and why you are doing this, people just say, by the way, these people, they move from M-Paper. Even actually in the market, back in the days, people thought, M-Paper, these people, they have just sold it. They didn't even ask you, even within the ecosystem. So it's more of we need to have, and thanks God now we have TSA, Tanzania Startup Association, which of course we are on the group and push that we need to have, even weekly catch-up events, not really meetings, but events for people to connect. Because you see, entrepreneurship, it's a lonely corner of a journey. And we see people doing things and we think like it's magical, but actually there are other people in the corner, they're actually suffering the fear of fail, the fear of betrayal, the fear of whatever. So if we have this either weekly, monthly, quarter meeting and meet up and say, I tell you what I'm actually challenging, and you'll open up. Hey, by the way, 3 years back, I was facing the same thing. This is the way I encountered it. But if we are not sharing that experience, then if we see someone else succeeding, we think it's a magic. While actually within the ecosystem, we need to share that. We should not just share success, but also we should share our failure in the process.
What has been one of your hardest moments as a founder?
The hardest moment as a founder. I think the main hardest moment as a founder is when you believe in something and you see people, they don't really see the picture, and you really have to fight and unpack. Sometimes, you have to do whatever it can be done. That's have been, the moment which you cannot explain, and you let it go, though you know that that thing, if you could do it this way, it could actually work. And sometimes it's mostly happening on the client side. You're trying to explain, you're trying to do this, but because someone else have, priced it cheaper, they think it's a way to go with it.
What is, when you have people at the organization, you talk about people leaving, people get higher salaries here and there, and like you understand that. What is the most important piece of advice when you're hiring somebody that you'd give a fellow founder?
The main piece of advice, it's actually to look into the person if they really understand the vision of the company, and are they willing to be on the, on the rough road before we go to the main road, and to continue telling them that this actually is the main road, but can you please, let's start from this, and always not to compare you with the likes of, the Google and whatever, but us as a startup founder, we need also to sell that. So in between, that's what, of course, it's called the, the poaching, the whatever, or maybe someone, actually, for me, if someone get poached, it's actually hurting me more rather than if seeing someone go and do their own business. I like to see people, if they live at Smart Africa Group, they need to go and do something else. That means they've already started understanding the opportunity, because after that they are going to create new jobs, and within that, in the future, I believe that we can connect and work together.
Cool. How do you believe, or how do you as a group think about challenges in the industry? For example, in many industries across the region, people get deals such as like, oh, I got this deal with Total or whichever industry that you're working with because I know this person or that person or this person, right? And probably people say that about you guys. Oh, Edwin only got there. SmartCodes are only doing this. Smart Africa Group only got this because they know these people and there's like friends or whatever.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for somebody who is assuming that for you, but also would like to get to that position, maybe doesn't feel like they have the adequate connections to get there?
Yeah. So for us, we I mean, especially for me, I never had any connection. The connection have been built based on the work and the things which we have been, delivering. And even the fun thing I can tell you, even my parents, they don't really understand what I'm doing. Yeah, that means it can tell they cannot connect me anywhere. But for me, even as a Smart Africa Group, we have never raised any money, because for us, we say that we are not going to pitch to VC, rather than we'll be pitching more to the customers. So our customers have been our journey for the founder of the business. So we always look into how can we over-deliver. And when we over-deliver the promise, you'll find out that the client will tell other client. And then it's when we've been growing. And of course, in terms of, the business, what I can tell the ecosystem or maybe the entrepreneurs is the most important thing is to build a network. And you need to build the network when at the time you don't need it. Not building the network now because I need something from Benji. No, building the network for the future. Yeah. So we have to start helping, and then in the run, people will remember you and they will come back to you for you too. Yeah. So my always favorite quote is always saying that your network is your net worth. It's for you to figure out how to convert it.
So Edwin, the journey you've been on is very inspiring for what you've done, from Moshi to Dar es Salaam, now to East Africa with Smart Africa Group and everything you've built. I know it's not been an easy journey, and many people from outside maybe assume, this, but what matters to you most in life and why?
What matters me most is to deliver value or to help people to achieve their things. That's why even when you look into core of the business of Smart Africa Group, we like to connect people and organization, because we think if these people are connected and get empowered, they can do more. Because I come from the family background whereby, if you need something and you cannot get it at home, you need to go to the auntie, to the friend and whatever. So if the whole ecosystem is empowered, which means the livelihood of everyone will be elevated. So connecting and helping people, which of course inspired to also helping companies, it's what actually connected to me more. And with this thing, actually, I find automatically that when we say you build your network, because when I meet people, I don't really start pitching business because sometimes I think they will not understand. So it's more of connecting with them, help them on a few stuff. And then later on, when you see an opportunity, you take within a certain subsidiary or a certain product and then introduce them. And even when we introduce to it, it's actually how can that help them? It's not about them you get paid, but how can you elevate this person? Because the way they are going to continue scaling, pretty much you, the person who is helping also, you are going to scale as well.
If the president of Tanzania, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, was right here in this room right now, and you could tell her one thing about technology in Tanzania, what would you tell her?
I cannot say technology is the future because each and everyone understand that. But I could say that, we need to give, the youth and technology people a platform to make mistakes, so that within that, it's when we'll discover something. Because when we want to, especially for us innovator, that means we are building things which have never been there before. That means we cannot be binded with regulations, which is a regulation based on the existing system. So when we given this window, of course in technology, you call it sort of like a sandbox, but that's a very technical part. But it's all about to give people opportunity to try. If you think they try with a good intention, then you can bring other, other part to make the part work. And within that, if that work, because technology, it's actually, even investment in technology is not that hard compared to infrastructure, constructions and things around that. Because even us, when we started, the profit was just to have a laptop and the internet, and you can do amazing stuff. So when we're given a chance, and people, if they will, the people around us as a family, but also the government as a whole, to accept that the failure is part of the process, then we can do more.
All right, we have a quick fire round of questions. I'm going to ask you two things and you have to pick one, okay?
Okay.
All right, important one, Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo, though I'm not more of a football person.
Okay. Biryani or pilau?
Pilau.
Why?
Pilau. You see, it's a fun part, but for us people we are coming, from the interior of the Moshi and whatever, we always eat pilau during the celebration of something.
Yeah.
So when you see pilau, you see actually it's in store happiness.
Yeah.
So if I eat pilau, I feel happy.
Who's the best Tanzanian music artist?
Diamond, of course.
If you had to pick for a vacation to go to Zanzibar or go to the Serengeti, which one would you pick?
It's depend, because I love traveling. So if I want somewhere quiet and to be offline, I'll go to Serengeti. But if I want somewhere whereby I can see, of course, the nature of water and still connect with people, I'll go to Zanzibar.
Instagram Reels or TikTok?
Instagram Reels.
Simba or Yanga?
For me, I'm staying in between. But I'm not much of the football person, but I like the fighting. And for me, I see also as a platform because it's actually make people refresh. And if you want to network, I realize you need to be into one so that it's like an icebreaker when you go even to the meeting. You go like, oh, so football, like Arsenal, you guys are. You start. That's like a start connecting before start talking about big words. Yeah.
Nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Edwin Bruno from Smart Africa Group here with us today on the Build Our Africa Speaker Series. It's really inspiring to learn about his journey from where he started all the way in Moshi, Tanzania, northeastern Tanzania, the rural city there, to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, now expanding his business all over East Africa to 100 employees, working with some of the largest businesses in the region. So really proud of you and the journey you've been on. Asante sana for being on the show today.
Thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me.
Cheers.
Cheers.